Rob?
Hello everyone, welcome to Rob's Rogues, and today we're taking a look at the DC Comics Multiverse from Mattel, the Batman vs. Superman figure. For you guys it really won't matter so much, but for me this is, I'm shooting these out of sequence. Superman is the last figure I picked up from the series, but I already have the armored Batman, which you haven't seen yet. It'll be after this. I don't know why I'm going into the explanation, other than I wanted to have the normal suited Batman to do size comparisons with this Superman, and then save the armored Batman to be able to show Superman with. So that's a long introduction for nothing else to say. I'm real happy that these figures are out. It's cool to be able to complete the first wave of the series without hardly any heartache at all. With The Dark Knight Rises, the latter part of the waves were kind of harder. It's surprising. I mean, I guess it's not that Batman is more plentiful in the case assortments, but I would have at least thought Batman and Superman would have been even. I know there's an extra Batman in the line, but that Wonder Woman is only one per case, and it was just my dumb luck that I happened to see her when I picked up my Wonder Woman. So the box art is exactly the same. There's no need to go over it other than there's the side panel of Superman there. And this is a lot of the artwork that we're going to be seeing on a lot of promotional items, such as cups and mugs and pillows and blankets and toothpaste and, you know, all that type of stuff. Toothbrushes. The write-up is exactly the same. I'm not going to read that again, so if you would like to read it, I can pause it for you, or you could pause it for yourself, or you can go back a video, actually to Batman's video where I read it. Superman does come with the biggest collect and connect piece, which is, so far, is the handle of the grapnel blaster. So that'll be the first thing that we look at, is seeing if I can put any of this together. I think I said it during The Dark Knight Rises Collect and Connect with the bat signal. You could put a couple pieces together, but sometimes a Build-A-Figure or a Collect and Connect thing, like you get all these pieces and it takes forever for you to be able to put together, like maybe you get 2 arms and a leg and you're like, great, I still don't have a body to put anything together. So enough blathering, let's get Superman out of package and we'll see how he looks with the other 2 that I already have, and then with his Movie Masters counterpart. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Alright, I've got Superman out of package and the handle of the grapnel blaster out of the package as well, so we'll have a look at this. It's a pretty decent size, just in size and scale for the Superman figure. It's almost as tall, actually it is as tall, not just a little bit taller than what he is. So I think this is going to be pretty close to actual size. It does say replica grapnel blaster. Now this is all just, you know, hollow plastic. Nothing on this works. It is a Mattel product, so it is, I would say, cheaply made, but I think once it's all together, I do think it is going to look pretty decent. I would not be surprised, I'm going to call it right now, I would not be surprised to see like a collector's edition of the movie when it comes out on DVD to not feature this or some other Batman replica. Just because I think Batman is going to be a selling point. Maybe there'll be a Superman, you know, collector's edition, so you could decide which one you wanted. Again, like I said, I've already had Batman, the armored Batman out of package, so I have his Collect and Connect piece off to the side, but I'll wait to actually put it together when I review him here in just a few minutes for me. So I do want to try and put some of this together. Now, the bad thing, like I mentioned before, there's no instructions in here whatsoever. So the only reference I have to go off of is this picture. So I could see, like, here's Superman's part, there is the standard Batman's part, Wonder Woman's is here, and the armored Batman goes up here. I don't know if it's like where it's pointing, if it means this piece right here. So I'm not entirely sure. So boo to Mattel for not including exactly how this goes together. So we'll try this together here on film. So I'm assuming it's going to go like that. Maybe? And like, I shouldn't have to guess how this thing goes together. I mean, there's a peg here, and I don't see where this little peg would notch in. Unless I've got it I've got it backwards, see? So there's that. You would have thought that this little piece right in here, this little part of the bat design, would have, the middle section would have been here. So I should have noticed there's a peg hole there, or peg, and there's the peg hole right there. So it's not my first rodeo putting something together, but still. So there is at least the base for this. So I can at least have that standing. So here is Wonder Woman's portion. So there is another peg hole and slot. So at least I can... Alright, this makes me feel a little bit better that I can at least have on my shelf that set. Now we do have some cut lines in here to where things are put together. It's not 100%, you know, flawless and seamless as things get connected. But it'll still look cool from afar. And even kind of close up. There's no working features on it. The trigger doesn't do anything. So obviously this is where the barrel of the grapnel blaster is going to sit. So we'll attach Batman, the armored Batman's piece here in just a second. Alright, here is Superman out of package. I'm really hoping he's going to be this vibrant in color on film. I doubt it. I think we're going to get the Zack Snyder kind of wash a little bit. I mean, that doesn't bother me. It's cool to look at the costumes like in display cases that they've had at conventions or to Warner Brothers studio lot. I've never been there, but I've seen like the pictures of it. That they look nice, bright, and vibrant. So, but the figure I think translates really well. And I know what this figure is. It's a quote-unquote Movie Masters from Mattel. It's Mattel. So I know we're getting from Mattel what we're getting from them. But all that being said, I do like all four of these figures. Am I under any preconceived notion that these are the greatest figures of all time? No. I know there's going to be some Mafex figures that are going to come out that are going to be fantastic. The Hot Toys figures are going to be great. I myself am finally getting a Hot Toys, but that's a discussion for a later date. But comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges, even out of all the Mattel figures we've received, these are pretty decent. I do like them. And it's something that when a new movie comes out or when something I'm excited about gets a figure or whatever it is, I get excited about it and I want to have some of those first things. I'm going to enjoy having all these figures on my shelf and standing prominently and knowing that these are the first Batman and Superman figures from the same movie just has me really excited. I like this one 10 times better than I liked the Man of Steel figure. The head sculpt on Henry Cavill Superman looks great. It definitely resembles him. Looks like I've got a broken neck, or it's not fused really well there. I didn't notice it in package. So just part of, you know, manufacturing 101. It's not broken. It doesn't look like it got pushed together very well. So I thought his head was a little wobbly. That might be part of the reason why it's not quite finished painted there at the bottom. But overall, I'm not going to notice it. Turning left to right, yeah, you kind of see the seam. I didn't notice anything on Batman or Wonder Woman. Come on, focus there. It passes for me. I'm glad to have the figure. I mean, now that I see it, it's kind of hard to not see it. If I found another one of these cheaper, I don't think I'm going to pay another $20 to replace it. It's not like he can't stand at all or anything like that. His eyes, for the most part, I thought were pretty good. He does appear to be looking up a little bit. I've heard some people say he's got a little bit of an Elvis lip going on. It looks pouty, just depending on the light. It is Mattel, and I always say, for the sake of reviews, I'm in very close to the figure. Getting back at a normal perspective, it's not bothering me in the slightest. He's going to look cool on my shelf, and I'm going to be very happy with it. The detailing work is done very, very well. All of the texture that is in the suit is there. The only thing that's missing is the new sculpt that is in the S is not there. Again, this is a straight, I would say, a resculpt, or they 3D printed a new mold to be a little bit bigger than the Movie Masters. So even though they sculpted the new belt here, they didn't take it a step farther to add the Kryptonian text into the S of the Superman shield. It's okay. I mean, it is what it is. But I think the S shield looks really good. The other striations in the suit are right on par. The extra, see, they went the little extra on the new boots the Superman has for the movie. So we did pay attention to what they were doing. I just don't know if that's just a corner they wanted to cut there. My cape appears to be attached all the way around, so that's nice. I've seen a couple that are kind of flopped up a little bit. The cape looks really good. Same exact cape from the Man of Steel. I didn't quite like it coming through the center of his legs. I would have rather had it, straighter there, but I know they were trying to give it a little bit more of a wind-blown look. The boots are a darker red, not as bright as the S shield would be, but even the texturing on the boots is right there. Can't wait to see this movie. Let's look at the articulation on Superman. Head does look left to right, can look up and down. He's got a little bit of a wobbly neck. I think that's just due to my figure having some poor neck separation there. The arms go up at a full 90 degrees, which is always nice. Good for flight poses. Arms can go all the way around. A little hindered by the cape, but that's to be expected. But doesn't really stop you from doing anything. He's got the bicep swivel, single bend at the elbow, twist at the wrist, twist at the waist, no ab crunch, T-jointed legs. They go forward and back, thigh cut, there it is, single bend at the knee, and a hinge at the foot. So pretty much a standard DC Universe Classics articulation. Missing just a couple, but then not every single figure in the DC Universe line was exactly the same. Let's bring up the Man of Steel figure and kind of look at the two side by side. So while these figures are very much the same, they are still both very much different. First, in the color palette, the suit on the Batman vs Superman figure is a lot brighter all the way around. Except for the boots. They darken the boots up on BVS and they're lighter on the Man of Steel figure. The heights are shorter. You can see that the Movie Masters Man of Steel figure is in fact shorter. The S's are the same, so you could see just in their able to make figures smaller or larger depending on the mold, the things that they have. It's essentially the same figure. The belt is completely different in through here, and the paint apps are a little different. The texture on the BVS figure is greater than what the Movie Masters is. And you could feel it here, but they really amped it up on this, that it definitely gives it a nice texture to the suit. It feels better, for lack of better words. You could see the extra line that they put in the boot here that is not on the boot on the Man of Steel figure. Again, the belts. So they did change enough of it to give it a different look and a different feel, and paint apps help that out quite a bit. the lines that run down the side of the legs are exactly the same, or just painted differently as to reflect into the movie. The face sculpt is the biggest improvement. Even though they did change the face over time with the Man of Steel figure, they made a world of improvement just in a few years in the sculpt on the Batman vs Superman figure. So, yeah, I'm thoroughly happy. Initially, I had told myself, well, I have the Man of Steel figure. That'll be cool enough. When I originally thought, and I do this all the time, if I'm only going to get Batman and then Wonder Woman, that's fine. I'm not going to worry about the collect and connect. And then I was like, oh, dang it, I might as well go ahead and do it. So that's pretty much that as far as the comparisons of the figures. The cape's exactly the same, and you can kind of, see that for yourself. And I would argue that I think it's the exact same cape. The cape here almost completely touches the ground, and on this one, it's just hovering just above ground. So I don't think they did anything at all with that cape. They just reused it and said, hey, this cape will work just fine. We don't have to shrink the cape or make it bigger. The sculpting of the hair is also different too. So a new complete head sculpt all the way around. I think that really works for the figure. So let's bring up Batman and Wonder Woman. And from Mattel, these three figures look really pretty good. I think so. Again, I'm not saying they're the best figures in the world out there, but they're three figures that I really like, and it's getting me excited for the movie, and that's what a lot of these products are supposed to be able to do for us. They may not be for everybody, but I am really enjoying having these figures, and it'll be really cool to complete the entire collection from this movie. And also the Collect and Connect piece will look cool on the shelf. Let's get a closer look at Batman and Superman together. All right, here's Batman and Superman together side by side. It does appear that everything is in scale now that I have the correct figures from the same line. It appears that Ben Affleck's character is the bigger person. I think Ben comes in at like 6'4", and Henry may be at 6'1", 6'2". So their sizes are correct, I believe, with their real-life counterparts. Whether you like Superman taller than Batman or vice versa, at least in this franchise, Batman is the taller, bigger guy compared to Superman. Superman is going to be, of course, 10 times stronger, a million times stronger than Batman can be, but it's just with Batman's intellect that it's going to go up against Superman's sheer strength. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to pan out in the movie, and just to see the relationship of Batman and Superman, their friendship, start in this movie, hopefully. So I'm very happy to have the Superman and the four figures from this series. We'll do a couple other comparisons, since I did it for Wonder Woman and Batman both. Here is the New 52 DC Universe Classics Superman. Night and day. This guy's got, ab crunch, over hyperextended syndrome here. I don't have the standard DC Universe Classic Superman anymore, as I gave him to my nephew. Because I have another Superman that I like a lot better. So I believe that their heights are exactly the same, or are really close as far as the DC UC Superman would go. This Superman fits pretty much in line with the DC Universe Classics figures, and I think that's what some people were wanting out of the Movie Masters figures. So that's cool that you could blend them in if you wanted to, but you could kind of tell from here clearly it doesn't quite work. You have a cartoon or comic version going up against a live action type of version, but still pretty cool. I've got a big cape. And I've got a big cape. Big cape Superman here. Here's the DC Superhero Superman I got from Chapman Films. Thank you so very much. This is what caused me to give up my DC Universe Classic Superman to my nephew once Chapman Films gave me this guy here. And again, their heights are, pretty exact here. He is kind of in a little bit of a crouched, bow-legged stance, so he might be a skosh taller than the BVS Superman, but not by much at all. So I wanted to be able to show you that. And I've got one more here that the scale is going to be way off, but just as a frame of reference. And here's the DC Collectibles New 52 Superman, which of course I know that the scale is way off, but in case anybody was wondering, will these fit with my New 52 figures? No, they won't, but it's still cool to kind of see them all mesh together and to see where this Superman, really gets his suit and everything from, which we kind of saw it in the other figure, but still, just wanted to be able to show you that real quick. And here's the scale shot of the heights of the Superman here. They're all relatively pretty close. I believe the standard DC Universe Classics is a little bit taller than the BVS, then the DC Superheroes, and then the Movie Masters kind of winds it down there. But a shot I kind of wanted to show you, since I did that with Batman, thought I would kind of do it with Superman as well. Final thoughts on the BVS Superman from Mattel from their Multiverse line. I think it's a cool line. I have not yet seen the Flash, Arrow, Joker, other Superman wave that is currently out there in the Multiverse line from Mattel. My Walmart was pretty well stocked with BVS figures, and that's fine for me. I don't know if I'm going to be picking up hardly any of the other Multiverse lines. I think I want Professor Zoom, a Reverse Flash, just because I don't have one in my DCUC collection, so I'll use the Flash TV show version. But anyway, I digress. This Superman is really cool. I like the updated version from the Man of Steel. I think it's a much better figure than the Man of Steel Superman. Essentially, it's the same figure, but I know a lot of us reviewers have said it before. Different paint scheme on a figure can really make the figure seem like $1 million when it was only $5 to begin with. Yeah, I think you know the analogy that I'm trying to use. I think this is a really cool figure. I'm so excited for this movie. As excited as I am still about Star Wars, Batman versus Superman, I'm a million more times excited. I just cannot wait for this movie. It's a cool line. If this is something that you're interested in, you kind of want to get the hype train going for your collection for this movie. These are some cool figures to check out. You can find them pretty much anywhere now. Don't resort to going online and eBay and buying them. Just go to your local Toys R Us or Walmart. You're going to find them without any problem. Wonder Woman's the only one that people are having a hard time trying to get, but keep looking. She will show back up. Today we'll be taking a look at Superman from the Batman vs. Superman line. This is figure number 1 from Mattel. And as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogue signing off, saying we'll see you guys next time.